Hey, how's it, YouTube? Cash22 here again. And we're here to do another eBay resurrection project. This time on a couple of Dreamcasts that I purchased for about $26 with shipping on eBay again. And the description on the eBay page was that obviously the two Dreamcasts were broken and it was in really bad condition. This one is dented in on the side. Luckily the laser assembly is intact. No serial number. You can see this is probably a different modem than originally was on this particular body because of the discoloration that's only on the modem. Has a stuck power button. This one has been really abused. You can see the top cover here is really dirty. Inside, the laser assembly is still there. You can see this Game Shark sticker. I don't know why that was put in there. At least the serial number is still here on this one. You can see this one too is a revision 1 by that 1 in that circle there. Oh, interestingly, the controller ports are missing, which is a bad sign. Let's see what revision this one is. This one is a revision 1. So what we're gonna do first is take the dirty one apart and see what we find. Okay, first things first, take off the modem. The modem hides a screw right here. The modem is super dingy on this. The chrome is just completely worn off for some reason. Okay, now for the 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see here all the screws are the same size, but if you're super anal and want to keep them in the same locations, grab a scratch piece of paper, poke some holes where the screw locations are at. This way again you don't lose track of which screw goes where. Okay, with the 4 screws off, we can take off the top cover. You can see here the controller ports are missing and also the fan is missing. Usually the fan sits right here. Okay, we put the bottom assembly away and I want to see if I can clean off this top cover. You can see it's really dirty and really beat up, but this should be salvageable. First off, we're going to try and get the lid off. Again, a number 1 screwdriver, Phillips head. Again, good practice is to just leave the screw right on the part so you don't mix them up. We can put the lid on the side. We can just easily pull this foam off. The foam has a piece of adhesive, so you really want to pull the adhesive off and not the foam. Just get your finger underneath and try to pull the adhesive off. And then for the lid switch or the lid button, just take this spring off by extending it forward and over the catch here, and take off the 2 screws. 2 tabs here for the power button. Just push in and push down at the same time, and then use a screwdriver to push in the middle, push it off. And same thing goes for the lid button, the open button. These here are pieces of felt that protects your disc from hitting the plastic. You don't want to get this part wet because it's going to ruin the felt. carefully peel them off, and we can reattach them later. Just get some cling wrap and you can stick it to the cling wrap. Now we can use some detergent again to wash this guy off. We're gonna be using some detergent. I use OxyClean powder, and we're gonna see if we can clean this bugger up. This is a heavy-duty brush because this is heavy-duty grime. First, test the brush on somewhere on the body and see if it scratches. Luckily, this plastic bristle brush does not scratch. I also have here a toothbrush which you can use to get into the hard to reach places. Okay, you can see here the cover cleaned up beautifully. It's just yellowed, so we're gonna have to retrobrite this along with the power button and maybe even the open button. See yellowing on this part too, so the cover plus the body is gonna have to be retrobrited. The ABS plastic that's used on the Dreamcast is pretty tough. I see no swirl marks left by the heavy-duty brush, so you can pretty much scrub this really hard and not leave swirl marks on the ABS plastic. Now we can put some of these parts away, and we'll take apart the bottom portion of the Dreamcast, and we can retrobrite the bottom part of the body.
You're watching the Sega-holic.
Since this Dreamcast is missing the controller port and the fan assembly, we will use this one as an example to tear down the bottom portion of the Dreamcast. First off, we'll be taking off the CD laser assembly. There's 3 screws. The first one was here, second one here, last one is here. Now we can just lift the laser assembly right off. To grip it, grab on this side and pull it straight up. Now we can take off the power board here. First, take off the switch connector here, and you can see why the power switch wasn't working, because it's totally cracked off, and I found the pieces here. But for the power board, 2 screws, 1 and 2. And then from here, you want to grab right here, right by the 5 pins that go directly down to the main board, and pull straight up. Now looking at the power board, everything looks okay. No burn marks. All the caps look good. And no cracks on the PCB. A member on the Sega Saturn UK boards mentioned last time that I should be using like a soft towel or something to put the consoles on that I'm working on. Well, here I'm using my anti-static mat, which you should be using for any type of electronic work, just so you don't get static charges on your electronic boards. Okay, from here you can just take off the power board shield, and then 2 screws for the power switch. And now we can take off the controller port, 4 screws. And just pull up the ribbon cable straight up. And we can take off the connector for the fan. Now we can take off the fan, 2 screws, 1 and 2. Looks like we need a number 1 screwdriver for the fan. Okay, and now for the RF shield. Screws here, here, there, there, and there. Now we can lift the shield right off. Looks like the main board is coming right with it. So let's just keep this together.
Better run home to Mama now.
Sometimes this pad sticks onto the RF shield here. All in all, the main board looks great. I don't see anything wrong with it. No modifications. I think the previous owner didn't open this console up. And then here's the bottom part of the case. You can just lift this shield off here. You can see some of the pads that's on here. Leave the pads on. Try not to misplace them. Shield looks really good. No rust on the shield. This will clean up really great. And here's the bottom part of the case. Pretty clean. Lastly, the controller port cover comes right off. And you can see this is a little bit yellow, so maybe we can retrobrite this also. Okay, now we can tear down the first Dreamcast. Okay, shield looks pretty good. Shield on this looks a little bit different. Looks like has some sort of patterning on here. I don't know if you can see the patterning. Main board looks great. I don't see any burnt components, and all in all looks pretty clean. Looks like the previous owner, he didn't mess with anything but the controller port and the fan. Here's the screws for the RF shields on both ones, for the first Dreamcast and the second one. Or a sign to see, if it's been tampered with, is the screws would be all in the wrong places. But you can see here, it was consistent from Dreamcast to Dreamcast. So it looks like the tampering didn't go beyond to the main board on the first Dreamcast, and the second Dreamcast looks like the internals wasn't touched at all. Okay, now we're going to be breaking down the modem. 2 screws, obviously 1, 2. We're breaking down the modem because the whole case is yellowed, so we're gonna be putting some Retrobrite solution on this. Once the screws are off, just lift from here and lift from the side away from the RJ11 jack, and carefully take it apart. And if you want to break this down further, it comes apart. Slide this off this way. You can see the shielding used on this particular Dreamcast is pretty unique. You can see this one looks like chipboard. Same with the shielding on the bottom case.
You're watching the Sega Holic.
Okay, for the Retrobrite process, we're gonna need some cream peroxide developer, and you can just go down to your local drugstore or salon to find some peroxide developer. The particular one that I found was a Jerome Russell cream peroxide developer. You don't have to actually mix up a batch of Retrobrite. Since it's raining here in Hawaii, I went down to the hardware stores to buy some black light, which is UV light. You need some UV to actually activate the peroxide developer. Obviously, you can use the sun, but it's raining here in Hawaii, and it's also nighttime. So, along with the black light, I purchased these light holders. I've lined the bottom of a box with some foil so it can reflect some light onto the part. And I also bought a 1-inch brush from the hardware store. And all we're gonna do is put some of this peroxide on and brush it on. This small bottle here is more than enough for one console. So just put some on, like so, and brush it on. You don't need too much, just a thin coat is good. We're gonna be doing maybe about 5 applications. I'm gonna turn on the black lights now, and we're gonna be waiting maybe about 2 hours in between. Okay, now I got the black lights on. Black lights emit UV light. We'll check up back on this in about 2 hours. Okay, I decided to leave the parts under the UV light for 3 hours. The lid that was under the lights is the top one. And you can see how favorably it compares to the non-yellowed Dreamcast. Here's a shot of the top cover. It still needs some work. You can see it's still a little bit yellow. Maybe about 3 more hours, it should be okay. I'm gonna put the cover under for 3 more hours along with this also, and we'll see just how white it comes. Okay, I've started round 2. And you can see I put in the front control port cover and also the power and open buttons. And unlike what you might have seen with some other Retrobriting videos, I just brush on a thin layer of the peroxide developer, and I don't even cover it too. I don't put it in a plastic bag. I don't cover it over, and it should be good to go. You guys can see the peroxide process is done. I ended up doing the process 4 times on the really yellowed Dreamcast, 4 times at about 3 hours each time. And you can see now it's a tad whiter than the non-peroxided Dreamcast, and you can see the fantastic results. This part was really yellowed along with the top cover. The other Dreamcast was just cleaned off again with detergent, and you can see how fantastic this looks also. Now we're going to be reassembling the Dreamcast with the stuck power button here, actually the broken power button, and we're going to be doing some troubleshooting to see if anything is wrong once reassembly is complete. First off, we'll put on this bottom shield. Remember to use safe cleaners, as the cleaner may pull off the chrome plating. You can test in an inconspicuous area to see if the cleaner is safe for the chrome plating. Okay, before we put on the main board, remember good electronics practices: do not try to touch the components. Just handle the side of the board, or any part that's ground should be safe also. You really want to avoid a static discharge when handling the electronics. What you can do is discharge yourself by touching a metal point. It could be like a metal pipe, or touch the metal point on your table. What that does is you're just evening out the electric potential between you and whatever you touch. Before you put the upper shield on, make sure you put the controller port cover. If the screw feels really tight going down initially, do not continue to tighten. Just back it out and reverse screw it, and then try again. The screw should go down smoothly. Do not force it in. It's going to thread out the plastic threading. And do not tighten all the screws at once. Just put down the screws about halfway down, and then once you get all the screws in, you can finish tightening. Before we put the fan down, you can take these 2 screws off and disassemble the fan to make cleaning of the fan easier. Okay, next we're gonna put on the power switch, and I was able to fix the old power switch. The broken parts I actually glued back, and I put some reinforcements on the side, some plastic reinforcements, and used PVC glue for the PVC piping. Works great. Okay, now for the CD board assembly. What you want to do for this is just line up the tabs for this hole right here. It should line up with the prong there, and I can just press down to engage it to the main board. Already told you guys about the virtues of Japanese Phillips screwdriver. This is a Japanese number 2, and you can see it's non-magnetic. When you put the heads on the screwdriver itself, you can see it fits perfectly, and it fits tight. Okay, now we got everything reassembled, at least for all the electronics on the bottom end. We just need to put the cover back on. Before we do that, we're gonna test it to see if the Dreamcast is actually working, or we're gonna find out what's not working. Okay, now for testing. I have a power cord plugged in, and we're just gonna do a basic power test. Okay, I see no power coming on. Usually that light, that LED light right there is supposed to be coming on. The fan is dead. Okay, from here we'll check to see all the basic stuff from the closest point to power in my DMM out here. Obviously at the power cord you need 120 volts. Would help if I had the power plug on. Okay, there's the 120 volts. Obviously set your meter to AC here, where you see the sine wave. Let's try this again. Okay, we verified voltage at the power cord. Still not powering up. Let's remove power to this. Now let's check the power switch. Best place to check the switch, right at the end of the connector here. Just put your leads to the back of the connector and check for continuity. Okay, switch is good. Okay, I've pulled the power board off and I found a fuse. You can see it labeled with the squiggly line there within the circle. So these 2 points are where the fuse is. And this thing is actually a fuse right here. So let's test continuity on it. Okay, fuse is good. What I'm gonna do now, since I already inspected it for any type of blown components and they all look good, is to pull out a good working power supply from a working Dreamcast, and we'll see if that powers this thing up. Okay, I got a known working power supply in. Be very careful, use common sense. Turn off your power supply before handling the electronics, especially the power supply. Looks good. See the laser head moving up and down. Let's see if the laser assembly works, or let's see if the whole console works. Okay, got everything hooked up to the TV. Let's see if the rest of the components work. Oh, that's a good sign. Seeing the disc spin like that. You can hear the disc engaging and the laser working how it should. Okay, this is awesome. So everything else works with the machine. All that was wrong was the power supply. We're going to do further troubleshooting on the power supply. Okay, I just re-inspected the power supply, and this is really hard to see. But you can see a crack in the PCB, and right there. See where it gets light on the green? So the copper trace is probably broken right there and right there. And you can actually see the crack on the top side of the PCB. See it right there, the hairline crack going right through those components there. What I have to do is probably put some jumper wires from this point to this point, and from here to here. But first I'm going to do a continuity check across those traces. Okay, I'm going to scratch off some of the solder resist layer, and I want to put a joint on this trace where it's cracked. Okay, before I solder these 2 points here, just want to clean this off with some alcohol, 90% isopropyl alcohol if you can. Before I start soldering, I'm going to apply some flux to the area to be joined. I'm going to test to see if I shorted out those 2 joints. Okay, with the power supply repaired, you can see the jump points right there where I soldered. There's 2 points right across that crack. Let's see if this guy works. Cross your fingers here. Right on. Okay, looks like again there was a crack in the power supply. Woo! Let's hook this up to the TV and let's see if it works on a TV. Okay, here's the Dreamcast hooked up with the original power supply. Awesome deal, man.
Let's do this! Let's do this! Yeah, I'm ready!
Okay, before we put the top cover on, let's put back the 2 screws for the power supply. Let's make sure it's seated really good here. This was the Dreamcast with the dent here, so that's what probably broke the power supply board. And you can see it doesn't fit properly here. Let's see if I can force that bugger on. This one is fully repaired. Looks great. There we go. Wasn't in properly. But you can see I got this in properly. Let's retest this on the TV to make sure everything's still working. You can see I'm working in the garage. Now let's get to work on the yellowed out Dreamcast.
You're watching the Sega Holic.
You know what, before we work on that other Dreamcast, let's put the modem back together. You want to put in the RJ11 jack through the hole before you put the rest of the body in. Here's the really yellowed out Dreamcast. This is a donor Dreamcast with a known working controller port and fan. So we're just going to transplant the controller port and fan over to the formerly yellowed out and dirty Dreamcast. See, this one is still dirty, so I'm gonna have to clean this out later. You know what? Let's just clean it out now. Now we're gonna do a simple power test. Some power to this guy. Right on. Okay, now we'll just hook this up to the TV. See if it's outputting video. Okay, we got the Dreamcast hooked up to the TV. And let's see if it outputs video. Awesome deal. See if the CD drive works. Wow, it's actually reading. Hear it. Awesome deal. Okay, now that it's tested and working, you can get the cover back on. Much easier time getting the cover back on with this one, since this one isn't warped. And this was the yellowed out modem, and you can see just how great it looks now. Remember how yellow and dirty this was? This thing actually looks really good now. Much better than the condition it was in originally when I got it. No chips on this one. The small scuffs that is barely visible, like here. I don't know if you can even see the scuffing here. But funny thing is, the one that came in the worst condition is actually the one that's in better condition. And here's the other Dreamcast that was just fixed also. And great deal, man, considering how much I paid for it. All the components are working. This one, remember, was just missing the controller port and the fan. Everything is working, from the laser assemblies to the power supply knob. This one needed to be fixed, but all the original parts on this yellowed out one was working. Again, you can see just how great this yellowed one looks now. Looks even better than this one here, but still this one came indented. And you can see I fixed that here, and both of them are now working and saved from eBay. Alright, man. And one last thing before I go, if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe. I'm going to be making a ton more of these eBay rescue videos. So cool deal, man. And again,